Hi, so in this second video of redo of week 3, we're going to look at how to implement the dice handle we were talking about. So basically we'd like the handle API to be like die handle new. We'd like to add some die to it, so add die, for example one with 6 faces, and another one with 10 faces, for example, so 10 and yourself. Cool. So basically what this piece of code does is this will create an instance of die handle class. This instance will receive a message at die, so we'd like to add a die to a handle with 6 faces, for example. This symbol right there will say that the next message will be sent to the same receiver as the previous one. So basically this message there will be sent to the same receiver as this message there, that is the instance of die handle. So we'll send add die 2 times to the instance of the handle, one time with a die with 6 faces and another time with die with 10 faces. And yourself will output the instance. So let's write a test for that. So we'll go to die test and create die handle tests. Save it. First test method we'd like to make is test creation and adding. So basically we'll use that, but we'll need a temporary variable, so handle, and right there handle equals, I'll tab everything, dot, and then we'll test that the number of dice in the handle, so handle dice number, for example, dice number equals 2. So we haven't defined anything, but don't worry, we'll do it right away. So come s, okay, and then define new class, because we haven't defined die handle, so define new class, and we'd like to add the dice instance variable. This is a collection that will hold all the dice we've added to the handle. Okay, so we've got some red messages, but that's fine. We'll write another test, creation with the same dice. So what we'll do there is, I'll write this on the same line, remove that. We'll add 2 times the same dice, so with dot. We'll check that first time it's equal to 1 and second time it's equal to 2. So we don't need to reinstantiate it, so handle add die. We'll add another die with 6 faces, and this time we'd like the dice number to be equal to 2. Okay, cool. So if we execute the test right away, we can see that the debugger opens and nothing is implemented, so that's normal. We'll go over to the class and go to instance side method, and first we'll write an initialize method. So initialize, call super initialize, and then give to the dice instance variable the value of a new ordered collection. Now we need to add a die, so add die, a die, and what we'll do is simply call add on the dice collection, so add a die. Save this. We'll need a getter of our dice instance variable, so dice, written dice. Save this, and finally dice number that will return the size of a dice collection. Save. We've got our 4 methods. If we run our test again, they are now green. It's a great time to save, so go to Tools, Iceberg, then we can go over to there and committed change. So I'll just repair this. Count branch, discarding image changes, cool. Okay. So we'll add everything, okay, check out, okay, commit. So normally you should just have to commit everything. This is because I'm messing around with my branches, but that should be fine. So now it's up to date, and we can go over to there and look at the output die with faces gives us. So if I press Command P or print, so I can right click and go to print it, we can go to a die, and if we go to this one, it will output a die as well. So while it's kind of useful, we can make it better by, for example, displaying the number of faces. In order to do so, we'll go to the die class and we'll write a method called printOn. So print on a stream. So this is a method that is already defined, but we'll extend it. So super print on a stream, because we would like to keep the a die thing for now, so a die, but we'd like to add the number of faces, so a stream, next put all, so we'll add open parenthesis, then in order to concatenate strings in Pharo, you have to use the comma, so comma, faces, print string, so this will convert the number of faces to a string, comma, closing parenthesis. Now if I save this and go over to there and press Command P, you can see that we now have a number of faces between parentheses, so die with faces 6, die with faces 10. That's great. What we need to do now is to make a roll method for the die handle. So basically how we'll do this, we'll do roll, we need to keep the result as a temporary variable, initialize it to 0, and then we need to iterate over the dice collection we have as an instance variable. So dice, and what we'll do is call the method do, and then brackets with double dash each. So this will iterate over each member of the dice collection, and we'll add the result of a roll, so res plus each roll. So do will iterate over the dice collection, and for each of the dice within the dice collection, we'll roll it and add its results to the global result res. So return res. Save this. And for testing purposes, we'll need a max value. So what is the max value? For example, for our handle there, it would be 6 plus 10, so 16. And this is exactly what we'll do right there. So instead of adding the roll, we'll add in the number of faces. Basically, this means this one rolls the highest value possible, so 6, and this one as well, so 10. And this will return the res. Save this, and now we'll go over to the tests. So first we'll test the test max value. So I'll just borrow some of these. I'll borrow everything. Let's go. So I'm there. Test max value. So handle, we'll create our handle. Self-assert max value equals 16. Save this test. Run it. Everything's green, that's great. And now last one is test roll. And we'll keep the same handle, but this time we'll do the same thing that we did for the roll method in the die. We'll do 10 times repeat, and then block with the assertion. So block, self-assert, but this will not be, would like to verify that handle roll is between, so I'll put the parenthesis first, parenthesis there, remove this, so between, if each die rolls to 1, so basically this will mean 1, 2, so the number of dice, between handle dice number and handle max value. That's why we needed the max value function. So that's great. Let's save it, run it. You can see it's green, so everything's working fine. We can save our repository once again, so iceberg, and committed changes. So this is what you were supposed to see on the first time we saved. So double click on it, now commit, and you can write, for example, so what did we add? We added max value roll, so roll method for die handle, and better print for die, and commits. Cool. So this is the end of part 2. In part 3 we're going to look at how we can use the behavior we wanted with, for example, 1d4 plus 2d6. Because right now we have the backend simulation of what I've written there, but we haven't, this message there will not be understood by the system for now. So we'll see that in the next part.